The Reserve Bank of India (RBI) Shillong organized the inaugural event of the Financial Literacy Week (FLW) 2025 on February 24, 2025 at Hotel Vivanta, Shillong. The FLW is being celebrated from February 24 to 28, 2025 under the theme Financial Literacy, Women's Prosperity, which underscores the critical role of financial empowerment in enabling women to achieve economic independence and prosperity. The inaugural event was graced by esteemed guests including Smriti Idashisha Nongrang, IPS DGP Meghalaya Police as the chief guest, along with Shri Ramakrishna Chituri, IAS Additional Secretary, Finance Department. The event was also attended by DGM NABARD, MD Meghalaya Cooperative Bank, EGM State Bank of India, and senior officials from various banks operating in the state. Speaking on the occasion, Shri Olden Nongplo, General Manager and Officer in Charge, RBI Shillong, emphasized that financial literacy is not just about managing money. It's about empowering individuals to take control of their financial futures. This year, RBI is particularly focused on women as their financial empowerment has a ripple effect on families, communities, and the economy at large.
This FLW 2025, which is being observed from February 24 to 28, 2025, marks the 10th edition of this initiative. The objective behind observing FLW is to spread awareness among people and key financial topic through focused campaign. Financial literacy empowers individuals and households to manage their money effectively, plans their future, and make informed and responsible financial decisions that lead to financial well-being and makes them aware of their rights as consumers of financial products and services. As the financial landscape evolves rapidly, the need for financial literacy and understanding the risks and reward associated with making financial decisions has never been more crucial. This year, the theme is Financial Literacy, Women Prosperity. The intent is to prioritize financial literacy for women, considering their multifaceted role in society. The campaign will cover topics such as risk diversification, responsible borrowing, maintaining a good credit score, and household budgeting, and will have a special focus on homemakers, working women, and women entrepreneurs. During the course of this week, the Reserve Bank of India, in collaboration with banks and other stakeholders, will organize awareness programs and outreach activities across the country.
Smriti Idashisha Nongrang, IPS DGP Meghalaya Police, in her keynote address, appreciated the efforts of RBI in furthering financial literacy in the state. She emphasized on the importance of imparting financial literacy among the women, as empowering women will result in empowering an entire generation. She also encouraged banks to improve the implementation of various schemes and scale up the financial awareness among the rural households.
When more than 50% of our population is women, especially here in our country, why have we not looked at financial literacy for women earlier? Yes, I know that the RBI has put into place a number of programs specifically targeted at improving financial literacy of women. But when I was going through some of the data that was available, it shows that not even 25% of our women are financially literate. That greatly impacts on any kind of improvement of the economic position of women at large. While men are a little bit better, but at the end of the day, if the saying goes, if you empower a woman, you empower a whole generation. Imagine the cascading effect or the multiplying effect. If that were to happen, if you empowered women financially and literally, when they encourage them, you empower them, you give them the opportunity to actually be financially literate, how does it translate into empowering a future generation or even generations altogether? You know, we talk a lot about financial literacy, but actually what do we actually mean by financial literacy? Is it just the ability to understand and to use financial skills, or does it go beyond that? We make informed decisions. What do you mean by informed decisions? Does it really impact you if you have, you take a spur of the moment decision, or you take an informed decision to invest in something? When women are expected to manage household responsibilities and expected to manage within a certain amount of money, isn't she already financially literate? But beyond that, beyond managing household expenses, what do you mean by actually providing financial literacy to the women? I've noticed that over the years, whenever we have any programs targeted at any particular segment of society, while the program as such, while the aims and the objectives as such are laudable, a lot of the problems come in when the implementation of such programs. I've learned from experience over the years working in the police also, that while the intention might be the best possible, the manner in which we implement those thoughts, those aims and objectives, and the way we go forward with it is much more important than what we plan to do and what we hope to achieve. Because unless we factor in the fact that we need to implement that, we look at financial literacy for women, yes, but how are we going to go about giving them that kind of financial literacy? Is it only through awareness programs? Is it only through some self-help projects? Is it only through some financial, schemes of giving them some loans, etc.? Or what? What happens in a number of instances? We see that you've targeted a particular segment of society. You've targeted, say, women, or some certain self-help groups which work with women exclusively. But beyond giving them that financial stability or financial help in the initial part of the program, what else do you do? Do you actually take them down the road, hold their hands all along the way, or do you just give them, okay, this is what financial literacy is all about, this is what the scheme is, and this is what you get. And beyond that, how does the person, because each person, each woman, each individual differs in the manner in which that particular scheme will be implemented. So here I take this opportunity to ask the RBI, when they're planning their programs, are we also looking at how we go about implementing it? I do have here with me a prepared text, but I thought I'd diverge from it. Yes, RBI has put into place a number of programs to improve financial literacy. You have government programs, you have the SEBI initiatives, and your customized financial literacy content. I was looking at that, I was scrolling through the website a few days ago, on Friday afternoon instead, once the polling was over. And it says there that the RBI has developed tailored financial literacy materials for different target groups, including self-help groups, predominantly comprising women. And these resources cover essential topics such as know your customer, savings and credit mechanism, principles of group management, bookkeeping practices. I also took the liberty of talking to a couple of self-help groups and asking them if they were aware that these were the initiatives that RBI is taking. Unfortunately, the awareness was not there. So, and then I asked them, when you talk about KYC norms, I asked them, you know about all the KYC norms which the various banks have? They said yes. I said, okay, when you talk about KYC norms and fulfilling those KYC norms before you take then you reach the next step of the scheme or project, whatever. They say that some of the KYC norms are quite difficult to comply with. So I said, what do you mean? They said that yes, they ask us for this, they ask us for that, they ask us for addresses, they ask us for that. But for a number of us, we, especially residence proof, for a number of us, we are a floating population. We move from one place to another looking for a job, so actually we are living in rented accommodation. So how do we give a residence proof? Because normally when you say residence proof, you'll ask for electricity bill or something which has your name on it, right? So a number of them, they say that we don't have that. And so we cannot be compliant with all the KYC norms that are there. So then God started me thinking, I said, what about other things? They say even in the savings and credit mechanisms, a number of us, because of the KYC norms, so we land up taking, we give the account number of a friend or a relative. And initially there is an understanding with that particular person that, okay, while the account is yours, this money is coming in and we will be using it for that. Unfortunately, I don't know whether you're aware of it, but in a number of instances, unfortunately, that total amount for which the scheme has been extended does not actually reach the beneficiary. A certain amount goes to whoever's holding the account, a certain percentage goes to somebody else, and so on and so forth. I said, okay. So then what happens? So then they said, actually, when we availing a number of these schemes, well, the amount might be X by the time which is allotted to us, which is earmarked for us, which is given to us by the bank. By the time we actually get it, it's X minus Y, which is already a significant portion. I said, what is that significant portion? How much can you put a percentage to it? They say about 25%. So at the end, when you right at the beginning of the implementing that particular scheme, you're already losing out on 25%. So then how do you recover that? So that's one of the reasons why a number of our schemes flounder, a number of our efforts are not successful. While to a large extent we are able to make up for it, in most cases we are not able to. So here again, that's why I wanted to emphasize on the fact that implementation is a very, very important factor. Whatever we do when we are planning for, or what we are looking at in improving the financial literacy of women, it's good enough. It's not just good enough to just give them the inputs, just tell them that this is what financial literacy is all about. This financial literacy will help you do this and will help you do that. But help you in what way? And how do I gain that financial literacy? I take it as a big positive that RBI is focusing on the women and improving the financial literacy of women in this week. But I would request the RBI to go a step further and look at how we implement ensuring that the women of this particular state of ours and the country as a whole are really take that step and take that first step towards the journey on actually attaining financial literacy.
Shri Ramakrishna Chitturi, Additional Secretary, Finance Department, Government of Meghalaya, in his address highlighted the importance of providing a whole bouquet of financial services, including basic insurance, pension products, in addition of having a basic savings account. He highlighted the importance of self-help groups in empowering women through a community-based mechanism of lending. He also urged upon the banks to strengthen the BC network and undertake necessary measures to reach out to the rural population in distant areas.
Meghalaya, by virtue of its geography and the dispersed nature of the habitations, there are quite a few villages which are completely cut out of the banking network. Because if you go by the Department of Economic Affairs figures, we have only 5% or 6% unbanked villages. But that is very misleading, because that's actually you take a 5-kilometer aerial radius, and within that 5-kilometer aerial radius, if you have a bank, you say that it is banked. But in Meghalaya context, especially in hilly terrain, not just Meghalaya, any hilly terrain, what happens is, first thing is, even in a plain terrain, that radius which you are just taking aerial radius, it doesn't translate, because people don't travel in straight lines in real world. And in hilly areas, the roads are so winding and so cut off sometimes, like the 5 kilometer on map where you write as a straight line, in real world it might be more than 40-50 kilometers. So that is one of the biggest problems which we are facing. We are also from the government side taking up with DEA that the actual reality is something else. But technology to a large extent can help bridge this. There are innovations like corporate business correspondence, bank sakis and all. But technology again is a double-edged sword. Actually, people like who are very aware, like people who are sitting in this room and many IAS, IPS officers, they themselves are falling prey to these scams. So when we are thinking about rural women, we have to be very, very careful. We have to be very careful. We have to give them proper knowledge when we adopt technology. So this is another area where we have to work on. We have to include in all our financial literacy campaigns on how to use technology and how to avoid the pitfalls of the technology. And the third and the most important thing, like when it comes to financing to women, one thing is like there are a lot of programs that are happening for the women, but the basic understanding and the basic thought process behind it is why actually we are prioritizing credit to women and all these programs are directed towards women. Because one thing, as on today, a major part of the credit uptake that is happening to men. That is one thing. The second thing, women are on the lower side, so we have to promote credit to women. The second thing is what we have observed in real world when all these programs are being implemented. The more financial independence, the more financial freedom, the more resources a woman in the family has, the better the health and nutrition outcomes of the women and the children. This is something very critical because the future growth of the family, the generational gap that is happening between the haves and have-nots, it will only be addressed if it is addressed in a holistic manner. Not just credit, not just education, health, nutrition, everything, social inclusion, everything should go together. This is where actually credit to women plays a very crucial role. Making resources available to women plays a very crucial role in actually addressing these health and nutrition related challenges and also make the next generation better. But what happens is when it comes to the credit to women, again, this SHG bank linkage and all, we take a very narrow view. If she is an SHG woman, you give a loan to the group and then the NPA percentage is very less. For example, like in other programs which the banks do, PMEGP and others, then even KCC, the NPA percentage is 48%, 50%, whereas the NPA percent SHG loans is actually for MRB, which has maximum of our loans, it's below 1%. For MCIB, it's a little bit on the higher side, but that is also because of the technical issues, not because the women are not repaying the loans. So actually the repayment behavior is also better with the women. So it's not only beneficial for the women, actually it's also beneficial for the banking institutions. But again, this is SHG loans. When it comes to PMEGP loans, Stand Up India loans and all, literally nothing is being done. Because since women belong to the SHG group, they are being actually restricted to that. They are not even aware of the other sources of funding available to them. Because the thing is, for majority of the women, these SHG loans are sufficient because the credit limit of 3 lakhs is decent. But the thing is, when they actually want to graduate into a higher level of enterprises, higher order enterprises, they require more capital. And there are schemes, but they are not being considered as if SHG women are excluded from that. It's not like that. As a woman, they can take these SHG loans, they can also avail other schemes. Just because you avail one scheme of the government doesn't mean you cannot avail other schemes of the government. So this is something when we talk about financial inclusion and financial literacy, probably this kind of sensitization is required at the banker level and also at the women level, because most of the women also are not aware. So when we are talking about this, we should definitely look at actually providing, especially the PMEGP scheme, because there they get a little higher credit and also they get subsidy. So it will actually help them, because there are like out of 100 SHGs, 10 SHGs, they want to do bigger activities. And Meghalaya logistics is a big challenge. And some of them actually enterprising ones where they have reached a level of operations, they want to buy these freezer trucks, they want to buy these pickups and all, which cost like 10 lakh, 12 lakh, 15 lakh rupees. So SHG loan is not sufficient. So these are the people actually we have to back, we have to help, so that because they already demonstrated a level of success, so they want to graduate to the next level, but there is no support. The mechanism is there, the support is available, but it is not reaching them. So this is one thing, one of the most important things I would like the bankers sitting in this room to address, and to actually do this convergence at the bank level, so that they can make best use of the financial products that are already available. And another thing, please, whenever we are conducting these financial literacy camps, please make insurance an integral part of it, especially PMJJBY and PMSBY. And please strengthen the BC mechanism, because it not only helps women, it helps all our rural villages. Because these days, some people actually they spend 40 to 50% of their MJNREGA wages income just to go to the bank and withdraw it. So they earn 1,000 rupees, 500 rupees are gone in actually withdrawing that amount. It's not just one village or two villages, quite a few villages are facing this problem. So please strengthen your BC network. That will help both the banks and the public. And last but not the least, we have to adopt technology, but at the same time, we have to create intensive awareness to avoid the pitfalls of technology.
In a bid to make financial literacy more engaging and accessible to the younger generation, the Reserve Bank of India, RBI Shillong, organized various competitions, including poster making competition and reels or short videos making competition for students. The event was organized as precursor to Financial Literacy Week 2025, and the winners of the event were also felicitated during the event.
Financial inclusion is the need of the hour. Why? Because without financial inclusion, development cannot take place. We are very fortunate to have a state government that is very concerned about financial inclusion. The state government has developed so many schemes that are routed through the banks. And the government has given a lot of assistance for bringing about financial inclusion in the state. It has even helped Meghalaya Rural Bank in this BC incentive scheme, where the state government gives grants to those BCs who perform well. So the state government is really recognizing the importance of financial inclusion in the state. There are so many schemes that have been developed by the state government. The list is very long. You have Mission, Aqua Mission, you have Pigari Mission, you have a long list of missions that are credit linked. However, there are a lot of challenges in channelizing these schemes, especially to the rural areas, because it's not easy. The schemes are there, but we are not able to have much penetration in the rural areas, especially. Our guest of honor, Chuturi sir, has already explained about the challenges faced by Meghalaya in bringing about financial inclusion. We know that the state is, the topography is very rugged, the sparse population. All these are factors that are responsible for not being able to bring about financial inclusion as we would have liked to. Banks cannot open their branches everywhere. We know that, because it will not be viable. Banks issue ATM cards, they issue KCC RuPay cards to the farmers. The other day, RBI manager, Mr. Lalit, has given a presentation, and he informed that more than half of our basic saving deposit accounts, they are remaining idle. They are non-operational. Yes. And our KCC cards are not activated. What is the reason? The reason is that the people in the rural areas, they do not have the channel to activate these things. I think many rural branches, they will report about the pendency of distribution of their cards also, KCC cards also, because the people don't come to collect also, because they are too far away from the bank branches. They simply don't care. So they just leave their cards in the bank branches, even if they are eligible for it. So how do we bring about the changes? There may be several ways, but as far as I'm concerned, I just would like to stress on what our guest of honor, Chituri sir, has already said. We need to strengthen the BCs. This is the only viable mode as of now to bring about financial inclusion in the state of Meghalaya and other hilly areas. In plain areas, I have seen the BC agents, they ride a bicycle, they go from one village to another. And the villages are not far apart also. So they can do a lot of business using their bicycle. But here you cannot ride a bicycle. The BC agents cannot ride a bicycle. And the villages, they are very far apart. So you need to spend a lot of money for the BC. For the BCs have to spend a lot of money. And so the cost of operation is not commensurate with the business volume, the commissions that are given by the banks to them. So the attrition rate among the BC agents is very high, that we know. So NABARD has come up with a scheme, that BC incentive scheme for Northeast region, wherein we give 1,000 rupees per month to those BCs that are able to do 50 transactions through their micro ATMs. So if the BC is able to achieve the target, the BC will get 12,000 rupees as an incentive. And I think government of Meghalaya is also giving some kind of incentive for achieving certain targets. And still, many people are not able to achieve. Meghalaya Rural Bank had sent a proposal for more than 700 proposal BCs incentive, but only around 80 were able to achieve the target. So majority of them could not get the benefit. That is the situation here. So maybe we have requested, we have written to our head office also that the target may be a bit relaxed in hill areas, because it's very difficult to even achieve for the BCs to achieve 50 transactions in a month. And I somehow got to know from, if RBI could step in this place, because they are the ones who can actually make the changes here. If RBI could contribute here on the lines of financial inclusion fund, if they could give assistance to the BCs, if they are able to meet some criteria, that will bring a lot of changes for the BCs, because the attrition rate is very high. We need to arrest the attrition rate in Meghalaya. Then you know that the BC agents, they are mostly women. So we need to focus on the BC scheme. We have a scheme, NABARD, under Financial Inclusion Fund. We have assistance scheme for micro ATMs that are to be operated by the business correspondents. The problem is that the same set of banks come every time, every year. Even for financial literacy programs, only the same banks, SBI, Meghalaya Rural Bank, Meghalaya Cooperative, Apex Banks. These three banks, other banks do not approach us. So I request the banks, especially who have branches in the rural areas, to approach NABARD for sanction of micro ATMs and for the BC incentive scheme. I think many banks are having BCs in the rural areas. So you need to have a kind of a pre-sanction from us. Just approach us. It's very simple. It's only a one-page application. Get sanction from us. Because only BCs will bring about financial inclusion in Meghalaya as at the moment. Because it's the only viable means. So I would request all the banks who have come here to approach NABARD and get our assistance. If you need help, we will assist you. We can give you all the formats, everything. So we need to strengthen the BC scheme in Meghalaya to bring about financial inclusion. That is my earnest request to all the bankers.
Women in Meghalaya are coming forward for loans in SHGs only, nowhere else. We have a lot of schemes for the women. It does not go down the line to the beneficiary that yes, this type of a scheme is there. It may be that our publicity or the literacy camps do not reach the actual beneficiary. There are schemes where for a housing loan, the rate of interest is 0.5 less for a woman. There are schemes where for education loans, the rate of interest is less for women. But the women, when we interact, they do not know about it. One more thing is the ignorance or the reluctance of people in the state of filing income tax return. Mudra loan, we have all heard that yes, Mudra loan is available and can be taken. We see proposals coming to us where there is no income proof. In my bank, the maximum amount of loan which we disburse in a Mudra is 1.99 lakhs. Because the income tax return is required for more than 2 lakhs. People do not have the income tax return. In the coming years, all loans will be done digitally. It has started. Many things have started. And you have to upload your IT return. It will be calculated by the system. And you will be getting the loan. We have so many proposals we get where everything happens and the last stage comes that no, the income is less. Somebody has filed income tax later and he has given his income as only 1,000 rupees just to file an income tax return. The system will fetch it and see that no, he or she is not eligible. These are the things which has to go down the line to the people who will understand, yes, I may not be a tax payee, but I have to submit my income tax return showing whatever is my proof of income. That proof will decide whether he or she will get a loan or not. Now, we know that advertisements digitally or in print media is more attractive or goes down the line to the people to understand about the eligibility criteria, rate of interest, everything. I do not know how many of you follow cricket. Yesterday was the India-Pakistan match. Everybody must have seen. But I do not know how many of you watch the Women's Premier League. Anybody watches? A very few people will be watching the Women's Premier League. And I see they are sponsored by one bank. In the ad. Can anybody tell me? SBI is sponsoring it, and it gives the information about what the loans are there for the women, what is the rate of interest, the concession given. This way, I have seen it. There will be other people who will be seeing it, and they will be understanding, yes, every hour one ad is coming out, yes, there is a Stand Up India loan where this is the rate of interest, this is the concessions given, education loan, this is the thing, which are collateral-free loans. All these things comes into the head of the person who looks into it. For us, financial literacy, we go, we talk, they are interested, not interested, comes back. So I was telling about PMJBY, PMSBY, and we know how tough it is. A 20 rupees per year, 20 rupees per year, if somebody invests in an insurance scheme, he or she is insured for 2 lakh rupees. 20 rupees, more than that a person eats quite. Yeah, that is for a year. But no, we are reluctant. People are reluctant to even do it. There have been success stories where a laborer died accidentally and his family got a 2 lakh rupees from the insurance company. The wife was a housewife, had 2 children, did not know what to do. With 2 lakh rupees, she set up a shop, and at least her daily requirements was happening. I was going ahead with account openings and all. Sir, in the state of Meghalaya also, there have been cases where money mules account have been opened. RBI is very strict on money mules, which is going on. People in the rural areas do not know that they open an account. Somebody comes and tells them, please give me your account and your ATM card. We will give you monthly 5,000 rupees. That account is taken. Some illegal transactions are done. Money laundering is done. And at the end of the day, this person who has given the account falls into the trap. Ignorance or trying to get some benefit without knowing the implications leads to this. I was talking to somebody a few days back regarding gold loan. In the state of Meghalaya, you know that people will never try to part with the gold. Right, sir? We will not take any loan against it. Maybe we need the loan. We were talking about a place in Chennai where gold is in abundance and people take gold loan. People mortgage that gold, take a sum of money, buy a flat, a small 1 BHK flat. Okay? They rent it out. With the rent which they get, they pay the EMI of the gold loan. By the time the EMI is over, the flat is theirs, the gold they get back. So what did they spend on it? Literally nothing. You tell anybody in the state of Meghalaya today, you can say for your needs, for your business, you mortgage your gold and take the money, repay it back. What will be the answer? No. I would rather die with the gold than put it in the bank. These are the small things which needs to go down the line. Financial literacy, we say that we are doing, outcomes may come in, but I would request RBI team, sir, if financial literacy camps are made mandatory for all banks, irrespective of having their branches in rural areas or not, they should be given a target. Yes, you have to do financial literacy camps in a year as a specific number and send the report to RBI as to what is the output of the financial camps. We do camps, but we are never concerned about what is the output. 100 people has come, talked, gone. We never even think how many people have enrolled for PMSBY, PMJGBY. Leave about APY. We have not come to APY also. We are not concerned how many people have come for loans. We have just thought, yes, a literacy camp has to take place, and we have taken place. So this is my request to RBI, that if this can be made mandatory for all banks in every state, that be it in the urban areas, their presence, or in the rural areas, so much number of FLCs is mandatory. and come back with the reports, with the outputs. I hope that the financial literacy and the women's prosperity will improve by this.
I'd like to, give my views, or the bank, not necessarily the bank's views, but my views on the three topics that are laid before us today. One is financial planning. Financial planning, it's a very apt subject because financial planning itself is such a vast subject. There are courses available. Even the National Institute of Securities Markets has a course on financial planning. And I remember when I was working in some other bank, we were also sent for a course on financial planning. And then, for those of you who are working in the banks or working anywhere and who don't fall under that what is called the old pension scheme, if you look at, I would suggest you do a small exercise when you go back. Look at when you're going to retire, and then, project from there, how much you're going to have as a corpus, and maybe, increase the monthly expenditure that you would like to have, post-retirement by 8% every year. I'm just giving a ballpark figure of 8%. It could be, it's up to you. You may say, no, that's not the rate of inflation. It's not that, but you'll come up with a very, very interesting figure. Do it on a spreadsheet. So that's financial planning. Now, how many of us have actually done that? At least the ones who don't fall under the old pension scheme. A lot of us actually, especially in the private banks, you're under NPS, you're under that what is called the EPFO. So now, post-retirement, we would like to maintain a certain standard of living, but how many of us have actually done that? I hadn't done that until I attended that training. So it's very, very important for us to understand that, financial planning is not just, it's not that we go preach financial planning, but we also do it for ourselves. And, there needs to be, we need to make people understand that it's not just bank accounts where you put your money in. It's also, there are also other financial avenues, be it your equity, be it your, you put money either, in insurance or you insure yourself for that matter. And, but like Mr. Anindya said, there's a tendency to keep money in only gold and what I would call landed property here, There's a very, very strong tendency. Even in our bank, we launched a gold loan scheme long back and we made the interest rates very attractive. Till today, we've not been able to catch hold of even one customer in spite of our best efforts. So it really thing. But my friend, who was the MD of Telangana State Cooperative Bank, he told me we're doing roaring business in terms of gold loan over here. So it's a cultural thing. It need not be. I don't know whether that's a bad or good thing, but yeah, it's a cultural thing. And earlier there were stories about those coal miners in the Janta Hills keeping money in huge drums. There were stories like that, which we heard. I haven't seen any of those drums, but so it's probably a lack of the awareness of the need for financial planning. They could have put it in, at least in an FD, and got a fairly decent amount of interest on that. So as bankers, I think we need to stress on these, especially in our financial literacy camps. And then there's savings and risk management. It's a known fact, of finance that, the higher the risk, higher the expected return. That's always a known thing. Having said that, I worked in a regional financial institution where, in the Northeast, where we funded a lot of these first generation entrepreneurs. And when people would come to the village, they would say, no, your interest rate is much higher. At that time, we probably charged an interest rate of, I don't know what, I don't remember honestly, but perhaps 8%. So they would say, no, your 8% is much, much higher than what the money lenders are charging. I said, how is that? They said they're charging 5%. It's actually 5% per month, which that person is charging. And these poor people don't know. So if he borrows 100 rupees, he has to pay 60 rupees more as interest every year, irrespective of how much has been repaid. That 100 rupees remains, still the loan is fully cleared. So these are some of the basic things, I think, which we need to tell people as we have our FLCs, when we have our FLCs. And then a few years back, a lot of people here fell prey to that, it's actually a Ponzi scheme. So that NSEM, I don't know how many of you remember, that National Self-Employment Mission. Now, a lot of people I know have lost money there. The money never came back. So these are, risk management is also that. The higher the risk, higher the expected return. And then availing credit for growth. Women borrowers are definitely better, as Chitri sir pointed out, in terms of the NRLM and SEGs that we've been lending to. But there is also a tendency to see, unfortunately, of course, things are changing, but there is still a tendency to see, these central government schemes, loans as grants, which is wrong, And therefore, if you look at, if you Google search, look at the big companies in India, look at the debt equity ratio. Almost all the big companies in India, I mean, I'm using the word big, it's very relative, but for the simplicity's sake, almost all the big companies in India have loans, and they've grown. If you just name the company, I don't think many companies don't have loans, but that's because they've grown so much, So that that culture of credit for growth, as Mr. Anindya pointed out, someone took a gold loan, bought a flat with it, and then the loan is repaid. So that culture we don't have. We need to inculcate that culture amongst us, amongst people, amongst our people. And that is one of the challenges that we as bankers and all of us as stakeholders need to perhaps rise to the occasion to. And again, there's this, of course, I'd like to conclude by saying that there's a very, very big disruption in banking, whether we like it or not. IT has really changed the way we do banking, and it's going to change things further. Will BCs become relevant in the days to come? I don't know. But I know for a fact that one of the private banks here had 3 cash counters a few years back. Now they have only 1 cash counter, And if you ask your relatives when was the last time you went to a bank, they'll probably say a few years back. There's a huge, huge disruption that is happening, And even in our bank, I've seen, in a certain region of the state, the amount of cash withdrawals post UPI, has really come down during the Christmas season. We would have to send lots of cash to that particular region during Christmas, during December. That's really come down. So these are, but the challenge here for us is to make people understand that these facilities are available when we have these FLCs, when we have these FLCs which are meant to educate people that no, you need not go to a branch. A lot of your banks, a lot of these private banks now, a lot of the banks in fact have video KYC, You can just go to the thing. A few months back, I opened accounts with other banks because I would like to also know what other banks are doing. So I went to this particular bank I don't want to name. So I said, I literally went there, without any documents and said, I don't have a document. So this person sitting there across the counter said, sir, do you remember your Aadhaar number at least? I said, yes, I do. So he punched in the Aadhaar number and then he said, put your thumb here. So I put a thumb impression there, on that biometric device. And then he said, okay, so do you remember your PAN, your permanent account number? I said, yes, I do. So then he punched it in. I put my thumb again on that biometric device. Then he said, who would you like to make your nominee? So I said, so-and-so. And then he said, put your thumb here. And my account was open. I got a message almost immediately saying your account is activated. I gave him cash across the counter, a small amount, and that's it. So there's this big disruption. So it's for us bankers to decide whether we use this as an opportunity to increase digital financial inclusion in the state. RBI keeps talking about digital financial inclusion, very correctly so. They encourage us to move towards digital financial inclusion. So let us as bankers rise to the challenge, play a role in the development of the state in our own small way, because it's not just us, of course. There are various stakeholders who are doing their part, but let us all rise to the challenge and let us all commit to at least do, that every branch should at least do 2 financial literacy camps this week, every branch of our respective branches, so that we contribute towards nation building, towards a much more inclusive India.
As we say in RBI, as a regulator, we believe in the triad of financial well-being. So in the triad, the first thing on the first thing on the supply side is the financial literacy. Like all the dignitaries, they have told the importance of the financial literacy, how we are conducting the camps. We have different stakeholders here. Banks, they are conducting the camps. RBI as a team, we are also conducting camps in the rural areas. MSRLS, they have a good network of BCs which are conducting these financial literacy camps. So we are taking care of supply side of this to the financial literacy camps. On the demand side, we have financial inclusion. If we are supplying with the people with the knowledge of what is the importance of bank accounts, why they want to open a bank account, how to save, we also at the same time should provide with the financial inclusion. For that matter, like the bank branches in the areas where it is feasible, and in the areas where it is not feasible, we should have a BC network so that the financial inclusion is being taken care of. The third side of it, as has been pointed out with many dignitaries here, it is the importance how to see that we are progressing with the digital thing. Digital financial inclusion, we are going with many things where there is no need of going to the branch. But at the same time, we have to present them with the kind of protection. So being a regulator, we are also taking care of the consumer protection. That is the third triad of this financial well-being. We have a scheme called RBI Ombudsman Scheme, through which if there is some kind of a complaint that the customer is having, so we are giving him the confidence that he or she can approach RBI directly after complaining to the bank branch or the financial institution, and we will take care of that. So that kind of a confidence we are also giving to the people. So these are the recent initiatives that we have taken, RBI has taken. On the demand side, sir, there is one project that we have taken, CFL project, I'll brief in the next slide. Then, sir, we have engaged with the school and college students. As a part of Financial Literacy Week 2025, we have organized some competitions so that we can engage with the school and college students. We have organized poster competitions. There is one extempo competition that we are going to conduct today only in the later half. And since nowadays, most of the youngsters, they are into making short videos or reels. So just to take advantage of that thing and how we can engage further better with the youngsters, we have organized one short reels and video making competition also. Again, sir, Aninga Dev has rightly pointed out that RBI, we have a guidelines for rural branches, where every rural branch, they have to conduct at least one FLC per month. That is 3 FLCs in a quarter. But very good suggestion he has pointed out that if going forward we can make the same thing for all the branches irrespective of whether they are placed in a rural area or an urban area. Then, so we have capacity building program for BCs. In the BCs, like most of the BCs are with the MSRLs only, so we have conducted some many capacity building programs. So mostly it's a one-day program. I think so we have done one in Nongstoy and other in Mokriwat, where we have gone there, and the BCs, they were there so that we can sensitize them what are the importance of financial literacy and how they can further. Then, sir, we have conducted FLC in the remote area for all the districts. We have gone to Southwest Khasi Hills, South Garo Hills, Southwest Garo Hills, all the challenging terrains also. And this week also, sir, our team, they will be traveling to even the distant areas like Siju, Rongara, those kind of places, so that we can further this thing.
Further, RBI Shillong, in collaboration with local banks and stakeholders, will organize a series of awareness programs and outreach activities across all the blocks of the state. These initiatives are designed to equip women with the knowledge and tools necessary to make informed financial decisions, plan for their futures, and safeguard their financial well-being.
Safe and digital banking is the mantra which RBI has been propagating, and I would like to encourage all the banks to take forward. Whenever you do the FL camps, please make sure we have to address the issue also of safe and digital banking.
The RBI Financial Literacy Week, I'm very happy to be here as part of it, and I would say that I'm also very happy that the Financial Literacy Week, the theme is mainly towards empowering women to become more and more financially literate. Empowering a woman means empowering a future generation. You're not only just empowering the women, you're also empowering the future generation.
It is very important for a state like Meghalaya to expand the scope of financial literacy, because our performance in the parameters of insurance, bank linkage, credit uptake, they're below par, I would say. So there's a lot of misconceptions regarding banking and insurance among the people of Meghalaya, which needs to be addressed. So this is an event that is kickstarting a financial literacy week, but throughout the year we conduct a lot of activities in collaboration with the different banks and RBI even government of Meghalaya is putting in a lot of effort to bring in and to support young entrepreneurs, both women entrepreneurs and youth, through our SHG programs and through our homestay development schemes in the tourism department under PMEGP, in collaboration with PMEGP. So what we want to do is we want banks to partner with the government and take to the grassroots the kind of schemes that are available, because there's a lot of gap in that area. Like people are not aware, like they can access to higher credit. So this kind of awareness needs to be created. And secondly, these days we are seeing a lot of financial scams that are happening, where actually people are being sent links and then their money is being looted out of their accounts. So this is one area which we need to focus, because technology is the way forward, but given a lot of our people are not exposed to it, we just have to create right kind of sensitization so that they won't fall prey to these kind of scams and all.
RBI has been conducting this financial literacy week since 2016.
Yes, sir.
And we are grateful to the feedbacks and suggestions by different dignitaries. We understand that despite the best effort, there are still gaps that have to be addressed. And as the Reserve Bank of India, we will look forward to addressing this gap and see that we work together with governments, with banks and all stakeholders to ensure that we address all those gaps in the future. This year, our central office has paid particular attention to the welfare of women, and in the coordination with all stakeholders, we will ensure that enough awareness camps are arranged or organized to ensure that to create awareness about women in our state.